So for those of you, so this is being recorded, and we'll send out the link afterwards. We'll also embed it on the website so that you can access it later and share with those that may want more info. And then obviously those that couldn't join us today, we'll be sending that out to them. So, well, thank you all for joining. For those that don't know me, I'm Yvonne Lara. I'm the head of marketing and communications for AYSO. And we are really pleased for you all to join us today to kind of talk through EPIC and whatnot, but I'll let my other two esteemed colleagues introduce themselves. So.
Ladies first, you go, Penny.
Okay, I'm Penny Wakefield. I am one of your National Board of Directors, and I'm also the, I guess, kind of lead person on the EPIC committee that has been working on some of the stuff that we've been doing that we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. My name's Andy Price. I kind of have a dual role here at the AYSO office, working programs and education with Scott and Karen, and also the growth implementation with Dan, and I also get to work with Penny on the EPIC task force. So thank you everyone for joining us this evening.
Awesome. I just work with everybody, so I do not in on one task force. They just say, "Hey, Yvonne, can you help us?" And then I say yes. So maybe that's my own fault. No, I'm joking. But yeah, so I'm not on the task force for them, but I am glad that we get to talk about this because I really love what we're doing here. And this is a really cool program. We also say we were going to have our Augusta rep, Stephanie Smith, here tonight as well, but unfortunately she got pulled away in another obligation. So she wanted to send her apologies, but she will be available for any questions after this, and I will explain all of the stuff for Augusta. So let's start and see if my mouse will. So today we're going to go over, our overview and objectives. Is just explain the reason for the rebrand and really walk through it. If you haven't been at the expo, any of the expos yet, or you have this, I'm okay. If you haven't been in any expo classes this season, you may not understand or have gone through the meaning of it or haven't accessed the website to see that. We're going to walk through that, talk about the grant application process, and then growing and or starting a program, and then we'll leave some time for questions. So I would say for your questions, we really kind of want to get through this. PowerPoint's very short, don't worry. And so if you do have questions, if you could please put them in the Q&A box, and then we will answer them at the end, because your question may be answered as we go along in this process. So, all right, so let us begin. So I'm gonna turn this over to Penny to explain why the rebrand.
Okay, so first of all, I was asked to, kind of be a part of this or kind of head up this group. It's probably been about a year now, maybe a year and a half. And one of the main focuses was to talk about how we needed to bring VIP back to the forefront. So we felt like VIP had kind of been put on the back burner, especially with COVID happening and all those kinds of things. And we kind of, we loved the idea of VIP, but the problem was that we felt like not enough people either knew about it, understood it, or really knew what they could do to try to bring it to their regions. So one of the first things that the task force, and just so you know, the task force is made up of people all over the country. I would say just about every person on the task force has a child who has some type of disability or special needs. So we're talking to parents and volunteers that are on the forefront. So it's not like we just picked people who randomly said they wanted to do this. These people are people who, live this and deal with it every day. So that was really important to us. So we talked about some names and we threw some names around. And one of the things that people really wanted was they wanted to make sure that our name reflected something to do with our philosophies. So the idea of EPIC standing for everyone plays in our communities. And the idea was everyone plays is one of the most important of the 6 philosophies that we have, and that we wanted to stress that everyone would have a chance to play soccer. We want to give everyone that opportunity to play soccer, no matter able, if they weren't, if they were able, disabled, whatever the reason, we want them to be able to play soccer. So Augusta came on board and decided that they wanted to really partner with us and make sure that, you know, they believed in the cause, they believed in the idea that everyone should get to play. So we wanted to, you know, reinvigorate the program, and we felt that with a rebranding and a renaming, we could bring it back to the forefront for everyone. And so the badge, if you remember the VIP badge or you saw it, it really looked nothing at all like any of the AYSO logos we have at all. It was just totally different, didn't align with anything. So the idea was we wanted, you know, we wanted kids to feel like they were a part of AYSO just like everyone else. And so that's why we brought back kind of the shield idea that kind of matches United Extra Adult. It matches the programs that we have. So we brought back the shield design and kind of the same colors. And so it kind of aligns with all the other programs that we have. That was our first goal. And then, are you bringing up the next? The idea that the badge has meaning. So if you look at the bottom, there's 3 stars. One, the large star represents the player, and then the other stars represent the parent or family and a buddy. So it's working together with everyone working together to help support this player on the field. And then at the top, we have the equal signs, and those equal signs are, you know, meant to, that it's equality, that, you know, all players are equal, no matter what team they play on or, you know, what program they're playing in, all players are equal. And that was important to us to have that equality. And we wanted to celebrate the capabilities of players with intellectual or physical challenges. If you look on the website, we did some pretty large changes to some of the wording that was on the website. Some of it wasn't person first, which if you don't know what that means, the idea is people used to say disabled children, and we want to say, you know, children or people with disabilities, because the disability doesn't have the person has the disability. And that's been very important in our in the communities that, you know, and parents, they want, you know, their kids are kids first. The disability is just something that they have. So we did some changes to the language, and we actually brought back in the philosophies and aligned the goals and objectives of our EPIC program with under each philosophy. So you might see that on there. So we're pretty excited about just, you know, revigorating, bring it about. And I think it's a big area of growth that, you know, we haven't really tapped in a while. So we're pretty excited about it. I think that's all, right? That's all I need to say.
I mean, you're more than welcome to say other things. So. But yeah, no, I think, again, it's one of those ideas to reinforce that the ideas that we didn't look at something just to remake it. It had to have meaning in order to move forward. So the reason we really want people to understand all of these pieces is to truly explain it when you're talking to, you're starting a program, talking to parents, when you're talking to your current parents, it's like, why are we having to like change the name? We like VIP. It's that we wanted to make sure that what we were representing is that how inclusive this is, but also that why we do what we do. We are articulating it to people we're inviting into the program, whether you have one or not, that they understand that we know and understand the families that we're inviting in, not that it's just, you know, hey, just join VIP. It'll be fun. It's that, no, we understand that the support system that we created for this particular program is clearly represented and from the very moment you're introduced to it. And truly, and to Penny's point, that changing of language and the way we speak about this is integral, we think, in the sustainability and retention as well as growth as we continue to move forward. So I hope that helps you guys understand, because I know that some people are upset that maybe we changed the name of it as we reinvigorate, but this wasn't done just because. It was done with intentionality, and hopefully as you understand this more, that helps as we really push to invigorate this program.
And I think I forgot to mention too that quickly that VIP was a confusing name for some people. I don't know how many times I had sessions at an expo where people were like, we get people to sign up for it who think that it's superstar soccer or, club soccer or something, because VIP meant, something different to them. And a lot of, regions had really worked hard to, like, everybody went on a waiting list. So they had to talk to everybody. But we hope that with this name, it stands out separately, that people really have to look at, what does it mean? What is this team about? Yeah, Rick. So Rick says they had that issue with VIP. And sometimes it means somebody pays their, they pay, and then you got to try to figure out how to refund them, or you got to try to figure out what to do with them, or they didn't get put on a team and you've already made teams. And so it became very, and like I said, some people I think were discouraged by that, and maybe that prevented them from, having the best program they could have. So that was another thing, is we wanted to try to separate it enough so that people had to really inquire about what did it mean. So hopefully this helps.
Yeah, definitely. It was funny that you say that, is that I was just at a conference this weekend with the sports fitness industry, and we were in the soccer council meeting, and USYS was there, and I talked about the rebrand of Epic, and they have Top Soccer. People are not aware of that, and they're like, we hate, like, this name doesn't work for us either. So we like to have like a real hard conversation about their Top Soccer is the equivalent to our VIP/Epic. And so they're like, Top Soccer doesn't mean anything to anybody you're inviting in. So it is actually a conversation that's being had in this space, very intentionally. And so we're ahead of the curve. So we're happy that is happening. So, so as Penny had mentioned, Augusta Sportswear really wanted to support this cause. It is also very important to them. Their chief marketing officer, his son has been involved in Special Olympics. So again, it's not just somebody, it is not coming from a company that has no, clue about this space. This is very personal for somebody that was really a champion of them being involved, because he knows how important it has been to his family to be a part of something at this level. So they have powered this grant application, which is really helping to this reinvigoration. If you're not aware, the application process is open, and it is open until May 5th of this year. We have already received many applications. So I would say if you have submitted an application, we're going to reach out to everybody, make sure it is completely filled out, because I have some that are not complete, and those we will not accept. We'll reach out to those people specifically to say, hey, you need to finish this, otherwise it will not be considered, which it clearly states on the page when you're doing it. But if you're not aware of where it is, we'll send this out after. It's been in a lot of the messages we've sent out, but it's at aysovolunteers.org. And then if you're actually under diversity, equity, inclusion, which is the third big button on that page, on kind of at the top there, and you'll see Epic Grant Program. It's also on the wiki as well, so you can get there from several places. But that is a place that I know everything, like, that is an easy way to get there. But it's open to all regions. I know some areas have also asked if they could do it as an area and apply as an area. Yes, you can do that. We just need to, when you fill out the application, just make sure that you note that, because that will obviously have a lot to do if we see that you just put your region and you're applying for it for the whole area. And then, because it will determine the kids that, and just to reinforce, it is not the amount of Epic players you have. It is the amount of children and players in your whole region. That is the scale as to, like, how you apply. And it breaks it down on that page. So, so again, if you're applying as a region, as an area, take into account, you probably could go to the highest level there to apply for that, but please note that you're applying for a whole area. So I just kind of want to go quickly over how we're going to award them, and then Penny and Andy are going to talk about how they can be used. So once it closes, if anybody ever applied for the Bustamante Playership Fund, it will follow very closely like how we did that. So it will go, the deadline will pass, and once the deadline is passed, everything that's time stamped by 11:59 p.m. on May 5th will be pulled and considered. Then what we'll do is we'll export every application Like I said, if there are incomplete applications and we have given people the opportunity to fix that and they do not, those will automatically be disqualified. Then what we'll do is we'll actually send it to finance, and finance will take a look at everybody to make sure that all regions or areas that have entered or have submitted are in good standing, as well as if there is an kind of well, I guess if you have a ton of money in your bank account that is unaccounted for and how it's being spent, they may have some questions for you, just to kind of put that out there. I just want to make sure, that you are being good stewards of this money. So that's the stuff they're going to be looking for. Then they'll send that back to myself and to see if there's anything. I apologize that my dog is seeing something outside, of course, right now. Then I can reach out to anybody and say, hey, this seems to be an issue. Can you give me any sort of explanation? Is there clarification needed? And then we'll work through that. Once that is all clear, then we'll have the entire list that needs to be considered by the committee. And so that will be comprised of myself, somebody from Augusta, Andy, Penny, and we are confirming a couple of other people that will be on there. We'll take a look, we'll read through everything that you've submitted. We will very much consider and highly consider your statements of purpose. That is extremely important because we do really need to understand what you're looking to do with the money. And we'll get to that in a second. Once that is all cleared and we approve all of the funds, then we will let you know. So this will probably take that whole process will probably take 3 to 4 weeks, just to give you expectations. And then once that happens, then we will inform everybody. We will ask for your bank information, because that is how we will be giving the monies. And then because these monies are coming from Augusta, we will let them know how much of the funds are being used. We anticipate it's actually more money than they originally budgeted, and they are fully aware of that and completely want to support this. So don't worry about that. And then they will then be able to award your money via ACH transfer into your bank accounts unless otherwise noted, and that is not how you want to receive it, but that is the fastest way. Along with that will also be a reconciliation report link that we will ask you to fill out by the end of the season. So that can be, if you're just doing it for fall, probably we'll do it for the entire, fall and spring. And then we'll be able to see how you use the monies. And this is integral to us opening up another grant process the following year. If you do reapply for money, then we would be looking at that to make sure that you use the money in the way that you applied the first time. So that's just wanted to kind of give you guys that very broad stroke overview. As we get in closer to the deadline, there'll be a lot more reminders of, hey, we're almost here. And if you have any questions, you can always let me know. So with all that being said, I know there's been lots of questions that have been asked as we've been on the road talking about this change and this rebrand, as well as the grant application process. So Penny and Andy, can you give us some ideas of questions you've received of how people can use the money, and then some like hard no's on how they can't use it?
A couple of things I'd say first of all, in terms of the actual application form, and I'm sure Penny's heard similar things at expos as well. I think it's a quick 3-page application. On the first page, it asks for the RC's information. It doesn't mean that the RC has to fill out the application form. You just need to have, the contact and your RC's name to get through that process. I think the other question that I've had in terms of the application has been, we're a pretty financially solvent region. We don't really need the money. We just are kind of interested in the uniform package. And again, you'd still fill out the application form, even if you're not looking for, the associated grant money as well. So, they're kind of two of the bigger things that have come up on my end. Penny, I don't know if you've got any other application questions you've had?
No, I don't think so. I think the biggest thing is stressing to people that if you don't want the money and you only want the shirts or the marketing kit, you do have to fill out the application. So, and I've tried to stress that. So, that's been the biggest one, or, some of them are like, we don't use the uniforms, but we like the marketing kit. Well, you still have to fill out the application, and it does ask you on there, do you want this, or all of them? So, it does give you that option to choose, but you still have to fill it out in order to get it. So that's the biggest thing that we want to stress, is that you still have to fill it out.
Yeah, and I think, to kind of back up what Yvonne said earlier, I think the advertised dates that are on that application process, we've got it here that the applications are open till May 5th. I think week commencing May 22nd is when we're going to start to inform kind of the regions and the areas that have been approved and for what amounts. And then from June on through, I think it's the beginning of August, is kind of when we're going to start to, physically ship things, transfer monies into accounts, just so, you guys know, what that looks like in a timeline. And again, that's all part of that application process, but just wanted to mention that one.
Yeah. Penny, I know that you've had some conversations with people about using the monies. What can you say have been some of the biggest maybe misunderstandings or myths or, just confusion?
So I think one of the biggest things that we've talked about is people want to know, our players not have to pay anything. And so we know that we can, give them a coupon code, or we can set the fee for Epic to 0, but we still have the national player fee. Is that something we can use the money for? Definitely. We definitely want to say, and you have to figure out how to set that up, whether it's, you create a virtual card for somebody to use, or somehow you do it, but you can set it up, that it would be a good use of the funds in order for your players to play for free, because we do want to make sure that your players are covered by insurance. So it's important that that you pay that national player fee, and whatever fees are associated, that's a good use of the money. Something that we don't want to use the money for is something that's not Epic related. We don't want to use the money to sign your buddies up to play, as a player, and give them a free, national player fee. If your buddy's going to also be a player in your program, they have to pay for, that's not something the money should be used for. If you're going to, you're going to use the money to send your, your board to a training, that's not what this money is used for. It's solely based on, the Epic players. And I think Andy had an example of if you wanted to have an event and you wanted to invite people to the event to try to, because you want to start a new program and you wanted to, have pizza, or you wanted to have refreshments or something, that would be okay, because it's geared towards Epic, exclusively geared toward Epic, and trying to either get new players or sustain and grow your own program. So just if you remember, the focus is on the Epic player, then I think that, it's okay. So, but I mean, player fees are something that we would support with the use for that money, because if we don't want there to be a barrier to kids playing, and if that's the barrier, we don't want that. So.
Yeah, and I think other things like, marketing materials, collateral, whether it be, flags, vinyl banners, canopies, yard signs, paid social media advertising. I'm kind of stepping on Yvonne's toes here. It's not my specialty, but I think that can definitely be put to good use to help spread the word of a new program. So I think they're examples of some other things you could use.
And I see Brandy has a question about, can the money go to pop-up goals for Epic? So if that's what, if you need those goals, for primarily because you're going to use them for Epic, then I would say that's acceptable. If you need equipment that's going to be used for that Epic program, then that would be acceptable as well. You're not going to buy balls for your whole entire region. So, but if you need to provide, equipment for your Epic program because you're starting one or you need one, then yes, that's completely acceptable. Thanks for the question, Brandy.
Yeah. And I would, just to, and again, those questions are what we want you all to ask if that's, as you're filling that out, and we don't want you just to stop your application and just not finish it because we may be confused. That is for you to like email us and ask us the question. But also with the uniform and the buddy shirt ordering process. So to Penny's point is that, if you don't want any of the monies, and you just want uniforms and buddy shirts, that is something we just need to know. And so they are, Augusta is powering this. The uniforms are actually on the screen here. There are red and blue ones that they will have and supply for all of your players, as well as the buddy shirts. The buddy shirts will be more t-shirt oriented, like a little dry fit, and then the uniforms will be kit style. And so we do know that some people want to use their own uniform provider. If that's the case, we just want to make sure that they do mirror what we're having all the rest of the uniform kits look like. So if you just want buddy shirts, just note all the things you want, and then that's part of the process, and that includes a marketing bundle starter kit everybody will receive. Actually, we're going to talk about that next. I'll show you where that is, but currently on our marketing toolkit, there is an entire EPIC whole place for you to go. And so that includes, and if you've been at the expos, you might have seen the pull-up banner, the yard signs, the vinyl banners. There will be stickers. Those are just pretty generic stickers. There are pins that we have been passing out to you that Sport Pins has created. Those will also be available in bulk buy for you eventually on the supply center. So oh yeah, so those are the sticker and the pin, which they're like really cool. So, and so those will all be there for you, but for it to get started, we are going to do a small bundle kit for everybody, whether you're new or old and you're rebranding. So you'll get the choice. We're still working with a vinyl banner, yard sign. And then if you want a pull up banner, those are all customizable. So you can drop in your logo, your address to your website where people can go up to sign up. And then, so everyone will get that, and we're still working that out. It'll probably be a coupon code that you will be able to enter when you choose the 4 things you get as part of that bundle. And we also have digital flyers, half sheets, postcards, and we'll have social up there as well. I don't think I have the social up there yet, but all of that is there, and it includes, explanation on the program. So there's the generic ones you can use and drop your logo in, as well as customized to your exact programming. So all of that is included. And then for the monies, if you wanted to buy more marketing stuff, you could, but everybody will get a starter kit for that.
So Janet's asking about colors. And I was at our expo, someone asked Stephanie that question.
Mhm.
She said that if you put something in the application that says something about, like you would like a different color or something like that, she said they can try to work with you on that. So make sure you put that actually in the application itself.
Yes.
Someone also asked if we don't have a program yet and we're not sure, can we give you an estimate? Because I think it asks how many you need. You can give an estimate, and they will definitely work with you if you get more players, and those types of things. I did hear Stephanie answer those questions too, just giving that estimate. So just so they have an idea, but they will directly work with you to get that all exactly the way you need it to be.
Yes, once that you're approved, they will, and they know everybody that wants uniforms or buddy shirts, they will send out an order, kind of website that, a link that will allow you to put in everything. And they're amazing at forecasting. So, they'll be able to work with you. So you have a little bit extra in there, and making sure that the sizing, and we have given them that kind of caveat that the sizing, this isn't just like the core program where, if you have a 6U team, you have an idea of how big the kids might be. In the EPIC program, realize that they range. And so that you could have, youngers and you could have olders, and it's just a matter of where they kind of rank on that. But some of the kids that are in the older category, but maybe playing at a certain age level, may be larger than what you think is a typical, what they think for that age group. So again, we have given them that information that the size range will vary outside of a traditional core team program. So they're quite aware of that. And that is not a big deal to them. So again, it is really important that you communicate with them completely and let them know all of your needs, and they will take care of it. Don't worry about that. They're aware that this program is different. So I'm quickly just going to talk about the marketing toolkit and the supply center I just kind of referred to. If you go to aysomarketing.org, that is where the marketing toolkit and supply center will pop up. And you do not need a login any longer. We got rid of that. But if you look at it, it actually will say, I don't want to kick out. I have like fear when I go to different places. I feel like I can't get back. So I'm not doing that. You'll get this link after. But this will be, should we just try it? See if it kicks me out? Do what do you think? I know Andy's face. That's exactly how I feel.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to hold my breath.
I don't know if it'll let me go. Maybe. Maybe. Does anybody see that though? I don't think you do.
No, because you have to change what screen you're sharing.
Yeah, I know. Okay, we're not going to do that because I don't feel like I want to scare myself. Anyway, so if you go to this page, it says AYSO EPIC on the right hand side, and that will open up and it has everything in there. So it's completely just AYSO EPIC items from banners to pull-ups to the flyers to the half sheets to yard signs and whatnot. And so all of that's in there, and that they're all customizable, like I said. So after you receive that initial bundle, you'll be able to go in and purchase at any time. They will be available. As well in the supply center, we just ordered Epic badges. We realized that all the shirts will be sublimated, so they will have the logo on there. But if it's something that you want to have that you can put on bags or stuff like that. So this it's a pretty limited. We didn't know how popular this would be. We will be making the Epic buddy patches too, just so they could have them if that's something you want to give to your buddy players. Is something they can put on their bag, or they can put on their soccer bag, just something that shows that they also support this program, because they get their buddy shirt. But all that stuff is actually live now, so you can go ahead and look at that. And again, things will be added, and that's how your feedback's really valuable. So as you look and see, everything can be, all the stuff on there, they can print it for you if you want, or you can just get a digital download file that's print ready. It does cost a small amount for you to be able to have that, but they will also all have digital downloads that you can then take to your people locally. But the original bundle they're going to produce, just FYI. So that's kind of part of the whole thing. But I'm going to turn this over to Penny and Andy to talk about growing and starting your programs.
I don't know if you want to. I can talk about the wiki. If you don't know about the wiki, you need to go to that link. It has all things, well, a lot of things Epic, maybe not all things Epic, but it has a lot of things Epic on there. There's a lot of, you have to kind of, the first part just kind of talks about our philosophies of, what Epic is going to do will meet the kind of goes with the AYSO philosophies. And then farther down on the page is where you'll find, you'll see the links in blue. There's also in the first paragraph, I believe, or second paragraph, there's a link to the grant again in that Epic page. So, we've got it covered everywhere. But at the bottom, there's some parts that Andy has put on that page, and I'll let him talk about it, about like starting a program, what your game day look like, all that kind of stuff. There's a checklist that is a little old and we probably need to update it, but it's at least something to get you going until we get, and as we update it, the updated one will go on there. And it also has a buddy form on there that you can use to print out and get a parent signature if your buddy is not 18. And then it also has a player information sheet that is integral to finding out like what is that, what disability does that player have, or what are some special needs that player has based on health or emotion or mental health that isn't on the normal registration form. So there's those 3 things on there, and I'll let Andy talk about the informational stuff that's on there.
Yeah, so, kind of tying in with the information that's on the wiki that Penny mentioned, kind of ties into, some of the training materials as well, which, the couple of documents that Penny referenced there are taken from an updated version of the program guide, which, we've been delivering at workshops across, the expos to date. So, one thing that we're very, very conscious of as kind of a task force, and also, programs and education department, is that, we're pretty aware that the, was a VIP program, the content really hadn't been updated for over 10 years. I think 2012 was kind of the date of a lot of the last kind of updates. Now, there's kind of a modern language document that was released by, the US Soccer Federation in terms of, appropriate use of language when it comes to kind of adaptive soccer. And so, we need to go through, and, we're in the process of going through curriculum to make sure that, phrases that were certainly not meant, in any kind of, detrimental way when they were written, but, things have changed and language has changed. So we're very conscious that we want to, update all of that stuff as well. The other thing I would say is that, in terms of training, we want to lower those barriers of entry to, to programs, especially new programs that EPIC is going to be kind of a brand new exercise for them. Right now, there's no online training as part of the, AYSOU/eTrainU curriculum. So kind of our commitment, to that, again, as part of the task force and the programs and education team, is that we want to get the EPIC volunteer training, the buddy training, and also kind of the information from that new program guide, all available as online resources, by the time, that kind of traditional summer training period to get people, ready for a fall season. So kind of that's our commitment, which we think is going to go a long way to help get programs up and ready, because not all areas have access to a VIP instructor. So by able to kind of offer this as an online training piece, we feel like, it's going to be a lot easier to, for regions to get it up and running.
And then I see the last bullet on there that says, remember, you don't need a full team to start a program. And I believe that some of that's addressed on one of the sections on the wiki, but you can start a program with, 3 or 4 players, because you can do like a jamboree style. You can have them, come together with their buddies and do some, fun games, think jamboree, schoolyard, playground, think that mentality of, just getting them out there to do, some skills, and then, do little games or little, games that would get them with the ball, and hopefully you can get more people, but you don't need a full team. You can do it jamboree style. You can do it playground, schoolyard, anything that gets those kids out there, with a ball, and they're, participating, and, hopefully they're going to have a good time. And you can, you don't have to have teams. That was one thing that, you're in an EPIC program, could be, I didn't realize that when I first started, 20 plus years ago, that you don't need that. And you just get them out there and play them. Maybe it's 2 kids, and maybe you're doing it with 2 kids, and maybe you bring in some kids from, some of your core teams to be the buddies or help out and work with them. And because they're going to have fun no matter what, if they can get out there with that ball. And that's the biggest thing, is just getting them acclimated and playing a game like all of their friends do. So.
Exactly. So we're gonna go into questions. I know we've been answering questions along the way, but Blanca has a question about if she applies for her area, can your regions apply also? Yes, however, I would then be curious as to how the area money was being used if the regions apply. So that is something that we would be looking at, because obviously if you are applying for the area and they're all getting monies out of this, is it different than what the region is applying for? That's just something we take into consideration. So, just be mindful of that and making that delineation, because you don't want a region to suffer if, you're doing it for an area. Obviously the money will not go as far. But, if the region is starting a new program and they really need the funds to really do that, that's just something to note for the region to really reinforce for themselves. So I hope that answers your question. But please go ahead and drop more questions if you have them in the Q&A box. But also I just, kind of want to build off what Andy and Penny were saying, is that we have to remember that, and I know there are a few people on here specifically who have kids in the programs, that this is an opportunity for parents of children or players. So again, they can be all ages, with intellectual or physical disabilities, where they get to have a different experience, right? So they get to come to the field, they have support in a different way, that everybody is a champion of everybody that's out there. So remember, this is something that is a special time that we can create. And so I would just encourage you, especially if you're looking to start a new program, that let everybody, this doesn't have to be perfect. This needs a place that it has a structure that can make sure that we can support the people we're inviting into the space. And that's why it's important for you to read the training material, ask questions, and lean on others who have built their programs, and see, what maybe some of their barriers were, and we can learn from one another. So we have another question. I will let Andy or Andy, you want to answer that one?
Again,
I'm like,
to Janet's
waiting.
question, do buddies have to complete all the same training as AYSO coaches? One of the barriers for us getting volunteers has been the youth don't have time, don't want to take the time to do all the training to come and help. Again, part of the reason why we're trying to get that buddy training specifically online, and for those of you that have gone through that or seen the training manual, it's relatively short. It's going to be an online training piece is going to be maybe 15 minutes long at most, to cover that. In terms of other training they have to do, kind of in preparation for the webinar tonight, I was talking with my teammate Karen Mahara, who I'm sure many of you know, who's our kind of safe haven guru. Buddies do have to take safe haven. What we are going to look to do is try and create kind of a youth version of safe haven that maybe isn't quite as in depth. Obviously understanding that the buddies are never going to be left alone with players, as coaches sometimes are. So obviously the requirement to go as deep into that probably isn't the same. So that is something again that we're looking to do based on the current content we had, maybe change some of the language to be a little bit more kind of youth friendly. But as of now, it is safe haven, and then the buddy training, which now is only an in-person class, are the two requirements.
Another question for you, Andy, from Peter, is when will the EPIC training manuals be released for download or order for print?
I think the training manuals, again, the priority for us is going to be the volunteer training, the program guide, and the buddy training. My understanding is I think we took the manuals offline, temporarily, just because the language was older, references to VIP versus EPIC. Peter, I can kind of reach out to you offline. Right now, I couldn't give you an exact date of when all those materials are going to be updated. The EPIC coach, I think, would be next on the timeline, to work with. One of the guys that's recently joined our growth and development team, Chris Solomons, was part of Chicago Fire and also worked extensively with Special Olympics on kind of curriculum creation. So he's going to be kind of an integral part, for us and our group to, kind of revisit, what that coach curriculum looks like. Obviously, the sooner we can get that done, the better. I just can't really give you a specific date right now, but we'll chat with with Scott to see realistically when we think we can get that one out there.
Thank you. Any other questions? Has everybody on here applied for the grant, or are they going to apply for the grant? And if you can drop that in the chat, or if you're looking for uniforms or buddy shirts or marketing stuff. I'm just trying to get an idea of like what people are interested in. All right, so Laura Lynn, you applied for the grant. Cool. Cool. Looks like Rick applied. They applied for everything. Jana applied for the grant. Cool. Awesome. Awesome. Brandy's asking her regional. So I just got cool. Again, like to Brandy, to Andy's point, as long as you have the regional commissioner's information, if you want to, you can do the application for them. Just make sure that you have the right info, because we do have to go through the RC, for distributing funds and asking for bank information and whatnot. So, but I would say if they give you approval and to do the program and you would like to do the application, that's completely fine. Any others? Is anybody unsure if they're going to apply, or if you're, I guess we're also trying to get that feedback too. Is it something where you don't feel like you'll need it, or no, Janet, you cannot get my contact info. Just joking. It's just funny that you don't have it. Seems like everybody does. So one way or the other. Yeah, definitely. We will send that. I'll send that. I can actually just drop in the chat right now. My region wanting to wait until spring to do a program. Yeah, even if you're waiting a while, go ahead and apply. Also note that as well in the what do you call it, in the
Comments.
Application. Yeah, thank you. The statement of purpose. I'm okay. I'll actually give all of our contact info in here. But yeah. So Blanca, if this is the first time you're hearing, yeah, so we'll send out another set of infos. Actually, I'm trying to think of, Penny, do you have the you don't have the QR code on you, do you? I was gonna say if you did.
I wonder if it'll work if I hold it up to the screen, do you think?
If people are on their computer, they could actually like
So I could like put it in the.
No, if you hold it up, people can use their phone and just.
Yes, I have the other what do you call it? The other copy. Is that what it was?
Mm-hmm.
From. Thinking I should take it with.
Blur your screen and then, so we did create this QR code, or Penny created a QR code, that is for the right people to get the information. So if you scan that, if you use your phone and scan this QR code right now, it'll bring you to a form, to fill out. And that way that you're on the list. I mean, we send it out via the insider, but we have a specific EPIC information list. And this will help you make sure that you're on that list of information that we'll distribute and we'll update so we can send out reminders and stuff. So Blanca, I would, say, go ahead and fill out this, and then I'm going to probably send out another, email to that group with this recording. And then we'll put this link in there as well for people to share, but go ahead and if you guys scan that, then you'll be able to make sure that you get on that distribution list for information that's specifically targeted to EPIC people. So, but yeah.
I'm
Cool.
hoping everybody got it.
It does work, Penny. I just tried it on my phone
Okay.
through the little screen. So
Cool.
Yeah, these are the ones I had at 13, and I'm thinking I might need to. I might stick them in my suitcase to go to 2, 9, and 12 just in case, because
Yeah, I would.
I'm not sure what happened at section 7, but
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know. Okay, let me see. I had something here in the chat. Oops.
you want me to put I'll put my,
All right, Blanca got it. Yeah, if you can put, I didn't know which email you wanted to use. Do you want to,
oh, I try to stick with the AYSO one. Oh, wait, I guess if I type my email address, that would be.
Lauren
what,
Lynn, yes,
it's-
sorry, I did not have, section 7 didn't have a separate EPIC session or table, so we apologize for that.
Yeah, it wasn't for, I had people to work there, but they came and there was no table.
Yeah, there was a misunderstanding, so
Yeah,
I apologize. So glad that you're on here though. So
yeah,
you can
that's
spread the
awesome.
information. But yeah, definitely, we will, we'll send this out, this recording out, like I said. Those are all our contact, that'll be on there as well. And then, again, if there's other things that come up, we just really recommend that you bookmark the sites, bookmark some of those links, so it's easy access. And then that way you'll be able to, thanks, Laurelyn. Yeah, you had Karen. I know. It was a little bit hard. It's hard when like myself, Andy, and Penny all weren't there.
Yeah, I would have loved to have gone if somebody wanted to send me, but no one wanted to send me from Michigan.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll make sure that we get the info to you. And again, this is stuff that we'll continue to chat about as well. So again, you'll see it as we go through. We're going to kind of see what this first rollout looks like. And again, this isn't something that's just one and done. It is something that we're committed, that Augusta's committed to. So they're really excited about it. So as we continue to move forward, like we said, your feedback is integral to making sure this program works for everybody and how we're doing it and what is needed. So not only for us in what we provide in training and marketing and support, but also for our partners like Augusta, who are supplying uniforms and the grants, and making sure that it works for everybody. So and then of course, once you do this, we want to see all your photos, all of the social media, so that we can share this. And that also, again, is something to remind you that all of this really, that helps grow. And that's what helps also invite other people into the program, because they see that you are a place that everybody can play, no matter how abled they are. I like to say people are differently abled.
Differently able,
Yeah. And so this is a place that, we want to make sure that we're living up to that philosophy through and through. So I hope that if we don't have any more questions, we hope that you have found this good info. Thank you, Rick. I'm glad that this is good for you. And there's people on here that didn't know about this. So this is really helpful. So share the word, and we're probably going to try to do another one. We may not get it before the end of the application process, but we'll probably do another thing just to talk about what happens like as we look forward, and whatnot. But we will share this, like I said, and encourage those that weren't able to attend, that maybe are interested, to watch this first, and then they can email us if they have any questions, and we'll go from there. So anybody else? No? Just a reminder of what it stands for. And we totally thank you guys for being a part of this. And yeah, we can't wait to read your applications and see more EPIC players on the field. But yeah, there's one more thing in the chat. Oh
yeah, we're just.
perfect. All right. Well, thanks so much. Thanks, Penny and Andy, for joining, and thank you, everybody. And we look forward to hearing from you all soon.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
Thank
Thank you.
Bye.